happy to have you
Hello.
here. So, this is a bit of a different episode because this episode is in English. So, it's my first episode in English and the first episode about dancing from my project Soulflow Hub. And also, I think it will be very useful for my project Kiss Hub. So, I'm very happy to be talking about a subject that I'm so passionate about and has been my hobby for the past 6 years. And today we will be talking about something that connects dancing and also healing with Marianne. So my guest, Marianne, is here. Hi, can you share a bit about yourself? Where are you from? Where you're at? How many years are you dancing from? And a bit about your ideas.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really excited to talk to you, and I really appreciate for the invitation. About me, I'm Mariana. I'm in German. I live in Germany. I have Russian roots. About me, yeah, I love dancing. I love teaching, dance teaching. I love coaching. I love empowering people. I love developing people. I love also analyzing. Originally, I'm a mathematician. I studied mathematics for a long time ago. This is actually my corporate job right now still. And and then I started dancing. It was 7 years ago. So 7 years ago, I started dancing. I directly jumped into couple dancing, a few weeks of salsa, and before I got to know kizomba. And then I directly switched also my focus um, from salsa to kizomba, and I was fully all in into kizomba and to grow my skills there in teaching, in dancing. Later on, I also started with zouk, salsa, bachata, solo dancing, um, because I just wanted to dance alone. I wanted to express myself alone. So dancing is for me not only a hobby, of course, it's also more professional because I teach, but it's also my passion. It's a way for me to express. It's a way for me to express my emotions, to also to process my emotions, something I cannot do with words. And this is also dancing for me. And then also dancing became for me a part of my growth, a part of my healing journey. And this is this is the big reason why we are talking here now together. Um, yeah, I think this is for now,
Thank,
this is who I am.
thank you so much for sharing that. That's very interesting to say because I feel like dancing was a part of my healing journey as well, but I feel like it started not as a escape for me, but more of a like the way I was feeling internally, it showed more in dancing. So I feel like I did a lot of changes for myself when I couldn't feel like I was feeling good or like I knew who I was. So that period, I kind of had an eye surgery because I didn't like, how I looked with the glasses anymore. So I feel like my internal emotions were more deep and my insecurities strengthened when I was also social dancing. So I cannot wait for us to go into more about that. Um, tell me a bit about your coaching ideas right now. I know you are working with people from the festival. So if let's start easy, like what are like three ideas or things that people should consider while um, let's say having a dance connections, for example. Let's start from there.
Okay, so a dance connection is something we experience in couple dancing. And everyone has experienced this in a different point of view. Let's say it like this. It's everyone who dances couple dance knows that feeling. It's hard to describe in words when you have this connection with another person. But everyone who knows how to dance kizomba, salsa, bachata knows it. We don't need words for this, we just have that feeling. It's the what happens between two people within a dance. So it's about more feeling seen, feeling understood, and have even this feeling of being accepted, being loved. It can be very intense. Why? Because we are also physical, very close. So what happens in the body, it produces hormones, emotions, and then it happens that we have strong emotions. In my point of view, that's totally normal in a dance like kizomba, where it's very, very physical close. And this can lead sometimes to also misunderstandings. And also this is, in my point of view, normal. Because when we dance in a couple dance, it's often with the other gender. And this comes to the next part of what we are dealing is not only the dance itself, so techniques, steps, musicality, it's all part of dancing, but because we are sharing this with another human being, now it comes also to the topic of relationship and human connection, like emotions, sharing energy, sharing our time together, communication. But this leads then also to the topic, okay, my boundaries, what is okay for me? How do I feel good? What is the line between feeling good, maybe pleasing, sacrificing, all these things? And this is only because I dance with another human being. It's a couple dance. So this is, in my point of view, the number one. So this is why, in my point of view, it's important to combine these two worlds. So I cannot differentiate. I cannot only focus on the techniques and steps because I'm a human being and emotions and how I feel is part of me. I cannot just cut it.
Thank you for saying that. So I was I wondered, like, how do you compare kind of being a part of a relationship with some other, not necessarily romantically, right? Being part of a
Mhm. Yeah.
healthy relationship or unhealthy relationship in your life compares to being part of a healthy dance relationship or dance connection because it's like shorter term.
Mhm.
How do you see that? Like, for example, when you said like about boundaries, about knowing your space, knowing feeling safe. Can we talk a bit more about these and how we can identify our patterns in our life and then bridge them to how we act on the dance floor?
Yeah, and this is a very interesting topic for me. So, and you said in a very important word, it's about relationship, not on necessarily romantic relationship, all relationships. This is family, work, friends, and also love. Yes. So, I everything what I share is my own experience. I directly faced challenges, personal challenges when I started to dance kizomba. I also came very quickly into teaching, so it became then more professional, and I saw there also challenges um, who that I saw the same pattern in my work, so in my corporate job. So here I directly saw the similarities of my insecurities there as a professional teacher and as my corporate job, where also is my profession. I saw performance pressure, for example. I saw appreciation of my achievements. I was craving appreciation of my achievements because I connected the achievements to my identity, to my self-worth. I thought only, okay, when I achieve this, then I'm good enough. The next booking, yes, I'm good enough. I'm a good dance teacher. So um, this is also, of course, based on how someone could be raised. I I also said this. I come from a Russian family. Performance was super important. I was raised like performance driven, always craving for performance. So this was the culture. Now I can say this. Okay, it was like this. So, and I saw this especially I saw this when I started to dance and teaching. I was so focused on performance and especially perfectionism because this is what I thought. Okay, when I'm perfect, then I'm good enough. And it's very easy to compare in dancing because we see it. We see it from the other people. It's such a one-on-one comparison. This makes it so easy to compare. And so this is one one pattern I saw when I started to teach the similarities in my professional job, in my corporate job. I saw also the comparison and the similarities with my family. What I said, I need to be perfect. I need to achieve in order to be loved, in order to be loved by my parents. This was also one similarity and pattern I saw in romantic relationships as well. When we talk about relationship now, love relationship, it's of course love is different than a dance partner, because a dance normally lasts a few minutes, a few hours, let's say a few hours, and kizomba it can take a bit longer as you have a good connection. And of course, this is easier than a romantic relationship, which lasts hopefully, of course, a long time. But it can be the same feeling in the beginning. And that's the reason why I like to separate connection versus attachment, because this strong feeling of emotion, this intense feeling, is more likely an attachment, an emotional bond you feel with the other person. Afterwards, it can be that you feel lost because it was super intense, that you feel overwhelmed. You have this roller coaster of emotions, up and down, also with the other person. Then we have this on off game when it goes further in romantic relationships. And this is exactly the roller coaster of emotions. And then the attachment starts. And a lot of people, and me as well in the past, used to think this is a connection. Actually, it's not a connection. It's not healthy because we are attached to an outcome. We are attached to the other person. We are attached maybe to the outcome of a relationship. It's unhealthy. It can get toxic very, very easily. So in this, I saw this also in my past relationships.
I think it's more like you are attached with the craving of being wanted or loved because this is where you see your worth being from. Like it's
Yes.
you seeing your worth because it's similar with what you said about the performance, the worth, right? You have attaching it to something you do, not just because you are, but something you do well. And this can happen coming from your professional life, right? You are a very good whatever doctor, you are a very good professionist, or it can be you are a very good dancer, or you can be you are a very good friend, you are like never letting people down. But this is because you don't really love yourself unconditionally. So this should be on top of your love. There should be love, like um, completing the love you already have for yourself. It shouldn't be a substitute for the lack of love you have for yourself, right?
Exactly, exactly, yes. It should be in addition to it. It it doesn't should be in a replacement for it. Even if I don't achieve anything, I'm loved. I'm enough. Who I am. This is exactly this is when a child is born, it does nothing. The baby does nothing, right? And we all love babies. I don't know anyone who doesn't love. Maybe they cannot play, or maybe they're a bit, I don't know, maybe they cannot handle a baby yet. But everyone loves babies. And the baby does
Yeah.
nothing. So when you take this example, this is exactly what you're talking about. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to achieve anything. You don't need to fight for love. We are stuck in these patterns because we know them from our past, most likely from our childhood, because our parents raised us like this, because they also were raised like this. Society told us, culture told us, religion told us, a lot of different external factors. And of course, they shape us. They shape how we move, how we act, how we feel, and how we connect with other people. That's totally normal. And yeah, the source is like, okay, I don't need to do anything. I can just sit here and do nothing, and I'm still loved. And the best examples are, of course, your parents. They will love you anyway, no matter what you do. But still, we want that our parents are proud of us, what we achieve. This is just normal. We want that our parents love us. This is totally normal. That's exactly when we have a partner in a relationship, in a romantic relationship, of course we want to be good with our partner. It's our nature. That's totally normal. And we try and we give love and we want love. It's also totally normal that we want it. It's also human nature. We need it actually to survive. We need this emotional connection to survive as a human being. But when it comes to an extreme, so when we fight for it, when our attachment is more like when we are in survival mode all the time. So I need to have this. I need to have this achievement. Otherwise I will die. So in an extreme form. Then we are in survival mode. And then our fears, our insecurities, our other emotions are driving us forward, are controlling us.
You said something or about like fighting for connection. Fight. I feel like I know you also talk about this. This is where you basically step out of your feminine energy, right? As a woman, and I know also like you know where you go into the powerful hustle culture, even in dancing, right? Because you see a lot of eagerness, right? To
Mm.
dance, to be seen, to be the loudest in the room, to get to dance to the the international artists, to get validation from them. So then you stop honoring your creativity, your intuition, I don't want to say like we shouldn't invite a leader to dance or an artist to dance. That's not about the point. The point is the intention behind it. Do I invite them because I would like to dance with them, or do I invite them because I need their validation in a like let's say aggressive, obsessive, being the scope of my life way.
Yeah, totally, totally. Especially couple dance. In couple dances, there are more women than men. Let's be honest. It is a reality. We want not to say it, and we want to fix it and everything. And it's good that we try to make more balance. But the fact is, we are more women, and then it's even easier to to have this competition thinking. Because there are more women, so you need to compete with more. And but for what do you need to compete? So why did you go dancing? Why did you pay the ticket for the festival, for the party, for the social? So what you told, no? What is the intention? So to have 100 dances, well, then yes, then you need to run all the time and ask leaders if this is your intention, right? If it's the intention to really enjoy and have a beautiful dance social and party and also talk with other people, just to enjoy a nice evening, maybe then 10 dances are enough. Then you don't need to compete. And of course, there are parties the balance is really, really worse. I saw it too. I was also then not dance as barely dancing. That's true. So, but this is also sometimes it just happens. It just happens. This is life. And in my point of view, we forgot about living life and also holding space for parties like this. It just happens. It's life. Sometimes we have ups and downs. It's like in every life and also in the dancing life as well. And it's not a fault of the organizer. He and probably more they did their best. And they're also not there to make me happy. To 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 fill my leg here. So then you can decide, and maybe you can decide, okay, I will not go to that festival anymore. But still you are a good woman, you're a good dancer. It doesn't decrease your worth just because you had a one bad dance night. So it doesn't decrease your worth.
I think what, for example, I learned about myself, let's say the triggering moment for me when I was like also doing therapy and I was kind of in that space where I didn't know where the problem was, which is
Mhm.
like pretty early on, um, was waiting on the sidelines. Like for me, if it was something to describe as a horror story, for me is like waiting and then having a song pass and then the other song pass and then something bigger happened inside my head, then I couldn't
Mhm.
take out the barrier to say, okay, maybe I will go ask for someone because then all became about me. And yeah, it was pretty hard for a big while to go dancing just because I felt like I didn't want to wait, first of all. Then I felt like my dance wasn't enjoyable for my partner. And then this kind of spiraled a lot, right? So then, giving also context of my feelings, then doing more therapy and some regression therapy back into my childhood. I had an image with me as a child, and everyone being busy around me. So they were there, but they weren't really emotionally there, right? So I felt invisible for a
Mhm.
while. So then it was really the same feeling that I was having, like waiting on the sideline, like having a lot of people but being alone, right? So then I had to do a lot of inner child work, but sometimes it happens where it's just like the effect of a bigger cause, right?
Yeah. And it's so beautiful what you just shared about your own experience, that you can see that your past shapes your present when you still carry your past. For me, it was the same. I had so much, I had so much past experiences, first with my family, so I need to achieve something, otherwise they will not accept what I do. That started when I started to dance kizomba, when I started to also then to do the inner work, to go on to go coaching, so to do coaching. And then later on, I did trainings and certifications to coach other people, to give that to other people as well. This was my start, to not feel accepted what I do, because it was my passion. But my family didn't understand what I do and why I spend so much money and to just dancing. It's just dancing. For me, it wasn't only just dancing. It was more. So this was my past experience, and I carried this into the present, and that's the reason why I did more. Okay, I was thinking, okay, I need to achieve more. So this was my past experience, how I was conditioned. So, and then I will be accepted. So I did more, and I was almost on a burnout, but it got worse. It got not better. It got worse. The challenges with also my family and everything and everyone, they were get bigger. I couldn't understand what was going on here. I did more. I was achieving more. How can you not accept it now? And that was the point where, okay, this is not anymore about achievement. This is something else. And then I started the inner work, and then I realized, oh wow, this has nothing to do with achievement. This is what I carry inside me and what I project now into the present. So what we
Uh,
experience, this shapes us.
so I want to ask you about um, physical, let's say, connection, because we both are Eastern European rooted, let's say. So culturally, growing up, I'm not sure how it's for your family, but I think for most families in Romania, or let's say hugs, being hugged by your parents or stuff like this, they're not very common. Like I think the generation today, millennial moms are more into sharing love or saying I love you, or being physically there. But for us, it was more like love through services. Like I provide for you, therefore I show you I love you, right? It wasn't words of declaration, it wasn't physical touch, like hugs, so it's not something easy for us, right? Being in a space of like kizomba dance. It's very intimate. You have your space very much open to your partner. So I want to dive into the next topic and my next question, which will be, how do you hold space and safe space for your partner to get close to you, and how do you receive, let's say, that? Because even if you're a leader or a follower, I think also for the leaders, being them man or woman, it's the same process, right? You don't get so close unless you feel a certain way. And it's amazing how in Kizomba this can happen in seconds, or it can take songs for you
Mm.
to kind of let go and feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's so true. So for me, the number one rule of holding space is acknowledging and accepting everything what comes. That means if I feel good and connect directly, great. I acknowledge and I accept it. If I don't feel good and I don't want to connect directly, also great. I acknowledge and I accept it. And here as well, there is no right or wrong. In my point of view, there is no rule for that. So the only rule I have is just really acknowledging and accepting. For me, I can just again my story when And it's true. In Eastern, I think in Eastern countries is quite similar, I would say quite similar. So I had both. I had a parent who were more in hugging and a parent who were not more in hugging. And me as a person, I also got to know myself quite good. With some people, I can hug directly, with some not. I'm also very sensitive, so I also need sometimes more time with some people. But it doesn't mean that I don't like the people. I just need my it's how I am. And I also in the past I also wanted to change that because I thought it's it's wrong. And yes, there were also some fears behind it, some past experiences. But also one time was there, okay, it's nothing wrong because I can see the difference. I can see, okay, I can be very close to people and I don't like also to be close to some people. So I have both then. So my my invitation to people who are just also not to force it. If you don't want to be close, that's okay. I would just then invite you to ask what's behind that. Maybe are you afraid of something? Of physical closeness? Can be. There was a time I also was afraid of physical closeness and I protected myself. But even now, with all the work I did, I don't want to hug everyone. So, and I say for myself, that's okay. Actually, that's okay. I don't want, even not in dancing. We are still strangers. Of course, yes. We learned that it's part of the dance. It's the nature of the dance to connect also physically, to come close physically. But still, sometimes you just don't like the smell. You don't like the energy, and it's not personal. I always compare this with I don't hug everyone on the street. I wouldn't do this as well. And I also wouldn't go on a date with everyone. I wouldn't do this as well. And I would not, I don't want to force myself to do this because when I force myself, I'm abandoning myself. But this is also a part I needed to learn and work.
Yes, I think there's a lot there. So getting to know what you're okay with and what's not okay for you. And that would be like kind of the first step. So what you mentioned in the beginning, your limits and boundaries, and then how to communicate them. I think that would be the second step, right? Because
Yes.
I feel like even though you know kind of what's okay with you or not, it's very hard for us to say something. Let's maybe make it more practical in examples, right? So something would be, for example, um, being, thirsty after 40 minutes of dancing and not knowing how to say thank you, but I want to stop, right?
Hmm.
Because you can
Yeah.
enjoy the dance, but you can have some like physical uncomfortabilities, like your feet hurt, like the air conditioning is very hard, you're like thirsty, you're like, it doesn't matter, right? Or maybe you started dancing, you don't feel safe, but then you don't want to embarrass the other person by getting off the dance floor too early, right? So you don't know how to even like more so as a follower because it's, as a leader, you're like leading the dance. So you can ideally stop it, but in practicality, each of the each of the two partners can stop at any time they want.
Yeah, totally. And I agree with you. I think it's even more challenging for the followers, so most of the time the woman, um, because we are also raised like being nice. Don't say no. It's rude. And this is still in us. So I needed to learn this too. And I know from myself, when I was a child, I was very, let's say, open-minded, free-minded. My father told me this recently. I always said no, and it was even in the Russian culture, it was rude to say no to your parents. So I learned it, okay, I'm not allowed to say no. And of course, when it comes to dancing, when I entered the dance world, I brought this with me. So I barely said no. When someone invited me, I said yes all the time, even if I didn't feel good. I stick to the rules they teach me. Three songs.
Yes, so I wanted to go into the next question.
Okay,
Let's talk about rejection, right? Because for
okay, okay.
me personally, I know that I couldn't like stand the thought of having someone say no to me. And this is like in me, right? Because I didn't feel good about myself. So the fact that I wasn't like very confident, or I didn't love myself so well, um, that rejection didn't feel like a no. They say, okay, maybe he doesn't want to, and that's fine. Like as you said, you don't have to like everyone, you don't have to dance with everyone, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. You do what makes you happy, because this is a hobby, this is a place you want to be, hang out with your friends, do whatever you want, right? So when I felt like I was rejected, it felt like 100 times more powerful, just because I wasn't okay, right? So, and also let's talk about the other way around, how to, um, I don't want to use rejection, right? But let's use like, how do you, um, don't initiate a dance, like don't say yes to a dance, because the rejection feels like has a negative impact on it, but it's not that. It's just saying like, no, I'm okay, I wanna sit, I don't wanna dance. Let's have some ideas on that.
So yeah, in my point of view, it's okay to say no, and if you want to explain it in a very clear and lovely way, in order to support the rejection, I say, in order to support the other person, not to feel bad, not to feel rejected. That's also, I think it's a loving way of doing this. And for me, it was the same. I was afraid of being rejected, and I felt so fast rejected. I mean, I felt rejected when my family didn't liked the dancing, what I do. That was for me a rejection of my family. So I was sometimes even often, actually often, in the beginning, I was super often afraid to ask people because I thought they don't want to dance with me, so they will reject me. So to avoid it, I didn't even ask. So and people liked to dance with me. I had never. So in the beginning, they really asked me very often, but still I was super afraid of rejection. They pushed me. People were pushing me to ask some artists and really advanced dancers. So I did the inner work. I learned it, and then I started really to be courageous and just to express myself. This is also to, in my point of view, this has a lot of common things with expressing your needs, expressing your boundaries, raising your voice. So I needed first to learn it, and then I always explained why. This was my first step because I didn't want that the other person feel bad. So I explained always the reason why, and then I over-explained. Sometimes I over-explained, actually, and then I realized it doesn't matter how much I explain, the other person has its own perspective. There was one festival. It was super interesting for me to get this experience because I was really tired. I need a lot of breaks. I don't want to dance all the time. I love to have breaks. And I said, Three men asked me. To all men, I said the same. I'm tired, I'm making a break. One man said, okay, and nothing. The other man said, oh, thank you so much for your explanation. And the third man said, are you really tired? Or do you just don't want to dance with me? I was like, okay. So it doesn't matter what I say. So it's like they want to give their own opinion anyway. It doesn't matter what I say, if I explain or not. If the man thinks I don't want to dance with him because of him, he will think it. It doesn't matter how much I explain. So, and then I learned also, I did more work, and I learned nowadays then, okay, I don't need to explain myself. It's my boundary, my need in that moment. Actually, I don't need to explain myself. And this is, it takes also courage, because then it's, the other person, yes, can take it bad. That's true. But I'm not responsible for the other person, how they take it. And now I decide when I want to explain and with whom I want to explain.
I have a question for the people who I think there are a lot of people who don't feel like they can say no to a dance. Um, how are they with saying no to other contexts in their lives? Like, can they say no to their boss? Can they say no to their mom? Can they say no to their best friend when they are not in the mood to do something? Because usually I'm a people pleaser too. So for me, it was very difficult to say no, and I'm still struggling to kind of say no. For example, in working situations, I feel like I try to accommodate everyone. It's very hard to say no in social situations with my friends. Like, um, if let's say, okay, let's hang out, but maybe I don't feel good, I will kind of, I feel bad if even if I say no, the feeling afterwards is still of guilt. It's not a no
Yes,
and I'm okay, right? It's a guilty feeling
yes,
afterwards. And this
yes.
happens also with dancing. And the second thing, what I want to know, like why people accept and give you like a bad energy instead of saying no. Like for me, this was like killing me because I rather you say no and then I can share my energy with someone who really wants to dance with me, then you say yes and then prove me throughout the song that I'm not good enough for you. I, whatever, don't follow you properly, you don't lead properly because you're not in the mood. So this situation like can ruin a whole night for me.
Yes, yes, totally. I totally understand what, and I totally feel you. So the first point was how to say no and if there are patterns in other areas of life. So for me, yes, I saw directly patterns in other areas of my life, in work situation, family, especially family, and especially romantic relationships, and also friendships. So in really every area of my life when it comes to relationship. I struggled to say no. I kind of avoided then the situation. That was my I say no. It was avoidance strategy. Because I was afraid to say no and disappoint people, disappoint myself, and so on. So, and I felt guilt. I felt guilty as well. This was a strong emotion in my body to feel guilty when I say no. Especially to my family. And sometimes I even struggle now to, and this is, I would say it's also okay sometimes to feel guilty. So I would not avoid the emotion guilt. I would just not. make it to your again to your self-worth and to your identity. Because then becomes a burden, and we don't want this burden. This makes us small. So this is first of all, you're allowed to say no, and it's practice actually. So what helped me is just to express more myself. I told my parents, hey, I really feel not good that I cannot come to this family meeting because of this, this, and this, or because I really need a break and I need sleep. I would love to come and I feel guilty to say no now to you. And also in dancing, you can do the same. So really and this is, when you do this, you directly acknowledge your emotions, your thoughts, and this is directly part of healing when you acknowledge this. So you're not suppressing this, you're acknowledging. And the first step of healing is acknowledging. So this is what helped me. I just expressed it. And with some people it helped, with some not. Some people took it personally. But I, the same, like I have no control of other people's behavior, thoughts, and feelings. So even when they take it personally, that's okay. I allow them to take it personally.
I think people in our lives also need some grace just because we are changing the rules, right? I mean, they are accustomed with us being in a certain way and then going through this transformational process. You are kind of changing the rules of the game while while you are playing, right? So the fact that you did certain things in a certain way and now you are doing it in a different way, it also is a new thing for them. So I think we should also
Mm,
like give them grace and patience to kind of adapt and time, right? And everything
mhm.
is learning over time. So you'll explain the first time, you'll explain the second time, but then they will kind of understand that this is the way you are now, right?
Yes, exactly. Of course, I change a lot. I change over time. And maybe in 1 year, I am also a totally different person than now. This is part of life. We are supposed to change. And some people more than others. Some people, they don't want to change. And it's also okay. So this is for me acceptance. Okay, I accept you as you are. And it's okay what you do, who you are. And the same is for me. And then we see if we can go together or not. And this is exactly for dancing for me as well. We start a dance and then let's see how it evolves. Maybe we connect and we have a great dance together. Then great, yes, then let's continue for a few songs. If not, it's okay. You're still a good person. You're still a good dancer. That doesn't mean just because I don't want to dance 1 hour with you that you're not good. That's not true. It's just two people who are not a fit together, that's all. And this is then when we come to the
Yeah.
second point, what you told, like when people are forcing to dance with you. Yes, this is also kind of part of our dance culture. I mean, there are some teachers who are teaching don't say no to a dance invitation. Yeah, but then you're teaching to force a dance.
Yeah, I think it's more like from the beginning, right? Because for the beginners, it's like, okay, if you're a bit more intermediate, then you'll teach them to say yes to all levels of people, right? Maybe this is more appropriate to say, okay, let's teach to say yes to all levels of dancing, and that's fine. But and also as a beginner, dance with everyone because you're kind of scared I remember when I started, I only danced to my two colleagues because I was like scared to ask someone to dance. So for a long time, we just, I had two boys which I was dancing with for a long time in socials, or if anyone came to ask me, I would accept, right?
Yeah.
So maybe this is more the perspective.
There are different reasons why we say this to dancers, dance with everyone. Of course, as a beginner, it's you stay in your comfort zone when you dance always with the same people, but and you evolve more when you change the people you are dancing with. Definitely, you evolve more.
Hmm.
But as a beginner, I totally understand when you stay in your comfort zone. Everything is so new, everything, and then you see the advanced dancers who are making kung fu moves on the dance floor, and you barely can do basic one and two. Of course, it's scary, totally. That's normal, and also this, it's totally normal to be afraid of this and to compare yourself. And here as well, you're just a beginner, you just started to dance. I think we forgot when we started to dance. We are so into our growth and into our level that we forgot how we did the first step. And when we were so grateful when advanced dancers or intermediate dancers danced with us, because we helped each other to evolve. So this is of course one reason we are afraid to step out of our comfort zone. This is like, this is can we can connect this again to I'm as good as my dancing skills, then I'm only good. And there will always be people, let's be honest, there will always be people who are bored to dance with beginners. And it's not, in my point of view, of course it's a sad mindset, right? Yeah, it is. We should all help each other. Yes, we should all help each other to grow. But is this realistic? No, it's not. That's not how the world is. Unfortunately, not. And sometimes, that is what I see, we are living in our dance bubble, and this is not the real world. The real world is different. There will always be people who cross your boundaries, who make you small, who take advantage of the physical closeness, who wants more than just dancing. That is life. Actually, that is life. And I think this is my point of view. We should stop to treat each other as a small child and treat each other as adults.
Beautifully said.
I mean, when I go to my corporate job and I will go and talk to my boss, he would like, what are you doing here? So, right? But we're doing this in dancing. We're doing this in dancing. We totally forget how the real life works actually. And there will always be people we don't like it. It will be like this.
Yeah, for me, I think, of course, there are some people you have connections with more than others. It can be just a dance, you just dance to three songs you don't remember, but you're having kind of fun. Like, the only thing that kind of bothers me, um, and not only in Kizomba, but also like in, for example, Bachata Sensual, which is very high up nowadays. It's the
Mhm.
use of like physical strength and force and not having proper basics to execute like very hard movements, right? So I think this would be for me a boundary that I have. Like if I see you not properly leading a very difficult kind of combination, I don't need that for my body. Like, let's be real. I mean, it's some things you can do, some things there are some days you are just like, oh man, I just don't want to, do like dips, I just want to, have fun, chill, enjoy, have like a drink. And I don't need to force myself to do a lot of improperly led figures, right? So I think for me, this is the only reason I would, and bad hygiene. So the only kind of two reasons that would be a big no, right?
Yeah, totally. There are so many tricks nowadays in Kizomba as well, and it's also a risk for us, right? We need the follower needs trust in the leader to really to do the trick. And also for me, sometimes I feel directly the leader is very insecure, so I need to compensate with my strength so that nothing else happens, that I don't fall, and I don't want this. So sometimes I also tell the leader, hey, can you please stop doing this? I don't feel safe enough to do this with you. So yeah, I have there my boundary too.
For sure. I think it will be really nice, right, to kind of also have this comparison of what's like choreography type of things and what's socially accepted, right? Because
Yeah,
it's difficult, right?
it's difficult, and also you cannot control the dance level in a workshop. That makes it also very, very difficult. When you teach tricks and such really also challenging movements where you need the physical strength, right? Where you need muscles to hold. Um, and as a teacher, I am a teacher as myself. It's super hard, especially in a workshop. In a class, you can manage, but in a workshop with a festival, how can you manage to check the level beforehand? So it's super hard for a teacher as well. So they need, so in my point of view, again, we are adult people, we have our own responsibility. So everyone should know actually, this is actually my expectation, because I'm adult, I can think, do I have the basics for that move? Or what can I learn in order to have the basic, so maybe next time I can learn that move because I really want to learn that move. Yes, great, but then maybe you need to, before that you need to learn something else, and then first practice it maybe with a good friend to also have the security in yourself to do it.
So, tell me more about the kind of work you do with dancers. Like, you do like workshops, you do one-to-one coaching. Like, can you guide us through how they work and how do you start? What's happening? Who is able to join? What do you need to be there? And how do you work with festivals and projects, right?
So yeah, I would love to share more about this. So yeah, I give workshops on festivals. The next one is in July in Paris at the festival Paris Kizomba Sama Festival. The first the first partner work and coaching and connection coaching workshop I give in Paris. So then I do one-on-one coaching. This most of them are dancers. They know me from my already workshops I gave on festivals or local parties. So they came then afterwards to me. Some of my previous students were also my coaching clients. And also I have online programs. Online programs, group programs. Recently I shared I launched a new one only for follower to exactly what the topics what we're talking about, setting boundaries, feeling confident enough to communicate, expressing needs, express yourself, express your voice. This is my new program for follower, so really empowerment for the follower. So they are online, but I also, so the workshops of course are in festivals, and the so far the online programs. Yeah, we this is not about dance techniques. So this is, I need to tell this also how I work. These are, so I combine exercises, so dancing exercises, with also mental and emotional skills and mental and emotional exercises. So I have then a holistic approach. So I combine the mental, emotional, and the body part. And all are related to human and relational topics. So to strengthen the harmony between leader and follower. And so I don't teach steps, I don't teach techniques or musicality or yeah, in these kind of workshops, in these kind of workshops. So it's really about the connection, to strengthen the connection, to strengthen the partner harmony between leader and follower in these human and relational topics.
Great. Thank you. So, are there any thoughts you want to share the listeners in the end, like some ideas or like some advice you want to share with you before we close?
Well, I think the biggest, so for me, the most important advice I would share to every dancer is think about the reason why you started to dance. There was something inside you that just wanted to dance. It doesn't matter if you are a solo dancer or a couple dancer. And it was most probably the heart was calling, oh, I want now to dance. And this is the intention why you started. So think about this. And when you always think about this, then all the challenges, all the topics will come up, and they will come up. Definitely. That's life. It's not about avoiding them. They will come up. And actually, I would advise embracing them, embracing and face the challenges, because that will help you to become not only a better dancer, but also a better human being, a better person in your life. And always think about the intention why you started to dance. Just want to share and express ourselves. In a couple dance, of course, we want to share this with the time.
Yes. Thank you so much. I really like the closing thought and thank you for all the ideas. And if you can tell people where to find you, how they can contact you.
So on my Instagram, I have my professional coaching account is Dance of Relationship. I have also another dancing account, Marianne Jost Dance. I have also a website. It's dance-grow.com. So these are Facebook is of yeah. Sometimes we use also Facebook. My name Marianne Jost. I don't have an artist name. It's super easy. It's just my name, Marianne Jost. So I would really love to connect with you, share my passion with you, talk to you, and yeah, if we can also meet in a festival, also Florinela with you, it would be really nice to meet you in person. I hope one day I will have the chance to meet you in person. Then I would be very happy.
For sure. Thank you so much for all the ideas you shared with us. And I feel like this is a great step. And I congratulate you for the courage of speaking up about these things because I feel like they are in people's minds and heads, but they are not brought in the daylight. So I follow you on Instagram and you have very nice content there. So I hope people will also follow and learn more about themselves and how to like have a better dancing experience with all the knowledge you shared. So thank you everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the
Bye.
invitation. Really, thank you. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.